Hello and welcome to the Solo RolePlayers podcast. I am your host, PJ, and today on the show, I just wanted to sit down at the beginning of yet another month, they just keep coming, and talk a little bit about some of the ideas and projects that I have coming up. This episode is a bonus episode which I can afford to put the time into thanks to all my wonderful Patreons. You are all the best. I love you all so much, and I really appreciate your support and allows me to do stuff like this because I love sitting down and talking about solo roleplay, and I couldn't justify the time otherwise if I didn't have your support. So thank you, patrons, from me, and if you're out there getting this episode and enjoying it, you can thank the patrons too by just looking upward into the sky and tipping your hat if you're wearing one and say, thanks PJ's patrons, and I'm sure they will get the message. Now, I don't have a huge plan for this episode. Really, I just want to talk about what's coming up this month on the show. I'm going to talk a little about what's coming up. I'm going to do a quick first look about something that has arrived on my table since last recording, and as we've been talking about over in the Discord, this is a good year, I think, for me to buy less stuff and play more of what we have. I think that is a good thing in general to do, not get caught up in this the zeitgeist, as Mike Shea was talking about on an episode I was listening to of his yesterday, about all the new stuff that's happening in the news and the drama and all that stuff, and just play these wonderful games that we have. So that's kind of my goal for this month. I'm not really buying stuff. I do got a couple of things coming from Kickstarter from last year still, one of which is what I'm about to open now on the show. And in addition to that, maybe a couple of small things. I'm still looking for my perfect little solo toolkit, as we all are. That will, I'm sure, become a topic to talk about one day, making a note, solo toolkit, because I would love to hear that episode, so I shall make it. And it, gets me to put the word out there and get people to give me advice, because everyone in this hobby is so knowledgeable. I do not pretend to be knowledgeable. I'm always surprised and humbled when people come to me and say thank you for your help. I'm just a guy out here not knowing what they're doing, like the rest of us out there in solo roleplay. So first thing I want to do is just talk about what topic we have for this month. And I've started doing this topical thing since December. We did Dolmenwood December, and January didn't have much of a topic actually, but I do like the idea of sort of having some sort of theme to tie things together. And it helps me choose what sort of guests I'm going to talk to, what games I'm going to play, that kind of thing as well. So the topic of the month, as some of you may have guessed if you're over on the Discord or if you've been on Reddit recently, is free and affordable games. There are such a wealth of game out there, such a wealth of games out there that we really couldn't play them all. And so many of them, so many great ideas are small and cheap or free, and there are so many fantastic things out there that I have discovered for myself recently, some of these games that are going to be appearing on the show this month. And I think it's just such a wonderful thing. I think we as solo role players, or as role players in general, but specifically solo role players, we love hacking stuff. Everyone I talk to is producing their own style or method or system or this kind of thing. And I think when creative people who have the talent, I call it a talent, a skill to be able to sit down and focus and actually produce something, whatever that is, sit down and actually produce something. I'm so here for that. And so many of these people are just putting up games on itch or whatever else, not expecting anything from it. Both the guests on the show this month sort of put this game up as just a bit of fun for themselves and were surprised that it turned into something bigger. And so without bearing the lead, we are going to be talking about this month on the show, as you might have guessed. Beetle Knight by Jim Hall from Brooklet Games is a pay-what-you-want downloadable game on itch. I'm pretty sure it's itch. There is also a beautiful, absolutely beautiful, and we talk a lot about this in my actual play, in my rules learn, and in my... I'm just throwing books off my shelf here, but I do want to show you this cover at least. Since I have camera, by the way, for those of you listening on the podcast, this is the first time I have a camera. I don't know if it's something I'm going to keep doing, but I'm just experimenting with it because I have another project that needs it, and so we're experimenting with it. This is probably mirrored, I guess. I don't know how cameras work. I'm an audio guy. So this is Beetle Night, and we're going to be playing this game and interviewing Jim Hall to talk about where it came from. And I just adore this game. I mean, it's got some holes and stuff in it, but it really does not bother me. I talked to Jim about that. And the holes, more often than not, they just encourage you to make up your own stuff and just sort of keep going. And I think once I lent into the fact that this is based on a video game and sort of almost playing it a bit more like a video game and not worrying about the overarching narrative so much, I was really, really enjoying this, especially the procedural procedure of making this hex crawl. And I wasn't planning to show this, but this is a 3-layer hex crawl, right? So you're going up and down between... Anyway, I'm going to talk all about it over on the episode. Really great game. Highly recommend you check it out. Not only in preparation for the interview with Jim, but also because in this month's book club over on the Patreon Discord, we are doing book club this month, and we are going to be doing, with a focus on free and affordable games, Beetle Night. We're going to sit down, we're going to play it. At the end of the month, we're going to get together and we're going to talk about it. And even if you're not part of that Discord, the feedback that I get about the book club is that people love that it sort of pushes them to play something that they maybe wouldn't have played and make a point of sitting down and doing it, which is kind of the point of a book club. So even if you're not a patron and even if you're not involved in the Discord over there, you can absolutely take on the challenge and play Beetle Night. And I may, if I get permission from the attendees of the book club, I may even put up some of those book club recordings, because we record the whole thing, of course. It's me. Put them up over on the free Patreon, which is where patrons and free members are currently watching this video live. Another accidental experiment. I'm full of them. It's not always a good idea, but so far, so good with this one. That is Beetle Night. It is the first game coming up this month in our free and affordable topic. High recommend from me. Really looking forward for you to hear those episodes, the interview and the actual play. I'm experimenting with a way that I can combine them together. I'm not sure. We're going to have to see how it works out. That is Beetle Night. That is Jim Hall. That is the first thing that's going to be coming up this month. Next week, in fact, in theory, on the Solo Roleplayers podcast, followed up by an interview with another designer. And I've just forgotten to rehearse his wonderful Italian name before playing this, but it is Roberto Biscelli, I think. I'm sorry, Roberto. He did tell me in the interview. I just don't have a copy of the book right now to read. Oh, wait, I do. I do have one. This is by Roberto from ZotiQuest Games, and this is one of the loaner books. This is the space version of the loaner books. There is a standard one. There is a steampunk one, there is a Blade Runner looking type of one, there's all sorts of things, and these games have accidentally exploded, in his own words. He just put something together for himself and it turned into an entire game series that has been praised highly as a really great way to get started in solo roleplay. We're going to be interviewing Roberto in the second half of this month, and he's going to talk all about how Loner came about. And we're also going to be doing a giveaway of all of the loaner books that I have. I think I have about 6 of them, which Roberto kindly provided to me, and said he is more than happy for me to give them away to listeners, especially people who want to get started in solo roleplay, and with very affordable if you win it and it gets sent to you. I'll even send you a sticker. Also, this month and coming out today is the new episode of A Wasteland Story, episode 13. I've been working on that one for a long time. I really love it. I'm just really slow, and with all the other projects, it's getting slower. But as I say in that episode as well, it is not for lack of love for it. It is still my baby, still my favorite thing to do, and I'm actually dying to get this thing released so I can go back to writing. I haven't been writing for it for about 6 weeks now. I've been slowly mixing it, and I'm keen to get back into the writing phase. Also, for those not in the know, over on the Patreon at the Lone Wanderer tier, I have a Fallout-specific Patreon tier level, and that is where you actually get the holotape series, which is kind of a new podcast, sort of, and that is based on popular request and demand. I started releasing my raw recording from the table actual play, raw recording audio from my original Wasteland Story sessions, which has been just amazing experience for me to go back and listen to these things, because they were literally my very first steps into solo roleplay before I even thought about this podcast, before I played any other games really, apart from a couple of small ones. It's really interesting for me to listen back to these, and this is my very first steps into solo role-playing. It's before I'm not performing, as anyone who knows, who listens to a Wasteland Story, those bits recorded in between from my phone while I'm just playing, as raw as it gets, and I edit a lot. I mean, I edit 80% out of those recordings probably, or maybe 60 or 70% out, as I build this bigger narrative and story around it, and take out a lot of the stuff which is maybe, I don't know, sometimes conflicting with the narrative that I end up coming up with, or sometimes it's just not additive to the story because it's more mechanical, this kind of thing. And I had people asking me for my raw original recording as well as my raw original notes, and I never thought these things would see the light of day, and then people actually request them. And, these are my actual original. I mean, this is a sneak preview of the final episode battle scene. Which I'm very excited to get up to, and my original notes. And so people wanted this stuff. I've made a tier for that, and you can get the new podcast series holotape and those original notes if you want to and are able to support over at that Lone Wanderer tier. This is not an advertisement. It's just what's coming up, and I think it's really cool, and it's been a very interesting experience for me to go back to those old sessions. And for you, if you've been playing for a while, why don't you go and read your original notebooks, your old notebooks, or your old audio notes, or your old sketches, or however it is that you record this fantastic hobby. Go check it out and just see if that gives you any ideas. I certainly have been reminded of things that I'm not doing anymore that were really great in solo roleplay. And it's a really nice thing to go back and at the very least just see how far we have come. Okay, that is what is coming up on the show. I'm pretty sure that is it. Then we are going to have a very quick little first look, and that is because I got a box last week and I have not had time to open it. It is relevant, however, to this month's topic because, A, it was brought up by Jim Hall, author and designer of Beetle Knight and artist in Beetle Knight. I love that art. When we were talking about the quality of the book and the feel of the paper and all this sort of stuff, he said he was inspired by this designer here. And we are going to open that now as it arrived from Kickstarter for me and see just what we have. This is, I don't know, I assume it's digitally available and I assume it is affordable at least. Bubble wrapped? I don't have my knife on me. Okay, let's get this out. We'll remove this stuff out of the way, and then we'll just see what do we have here. Now, for anyone who knows what this is, this might give it away. This is a very shiny bookmark. Ooh, I like it when a bookmark has tables on it or hints, and this is 12 years. 12 years I really know almost nothing about, other than to say I saw Man Alone talk about it. He mentioned it in a chat we were having, and I saw him do a video on it. And I thought I would just pick it up in the most recent Kickstarter that came up, and it looks really nice. I got just the, this one. This is the one that I actually backed. This is the 12 Years at Sea. It's really cool. I really love the feel of this book. Looks to be nicely laid out. Lots of tables. That is a good sign. Like I said, I know nothing about 12 Years other than I have heard people say it is good, and it is something I'm keen to try. I'm going away the week after next for a week for holiday, and I want to take a couple of small games that I can maybe get a little chance to sneak away and play while no one's looking. Okay, so yeah, not really a first look. In fact, we better give this a little bit more credence here. 12 years. 12 years ago today, the wild prophet returned from Fae, madness about their addled mind, starkly wavering antler tines. A smile shone of secrets learned, and visions of the known world burned. The prophet's ranting hardly heard, you alone did heed their word, didn't realize I was going to be reciting poetry now. The king of old in risen bone? Yeah. Rots with hatred on his throne, bear the skull that bore a crown, a coronation shall lay him down. 12 years from now, if none succeed, the king's dead army on fearsome steed, brazenly burns all that lives, and death becomes a welcome gift. That sounds lovely and dark. 12 Years is a GM-less tabletop role-playing game to be played solo or with multiple players. The encounters, world, and enemy actions are all randomly generated by dice rolls, eliminating the need for a game master. That is what we like to see. I always like to flick and see what we get with like a character sheet and, standard hex crawl. Interesting. Party sheet? That's good to know. And very tiny print quick play. Okay, cool. That is 12 Years and some of the expansions. I didn't get them all. I just have the main book and 12 Years at Sea. And I look forward to checking that out further. And a sticker. Stickers are still cool. Okay, that was sort of the first look. I don't think anything else has come in since last time I recorded. I've been doing a lot of different things and bits and pieces. I finished my first GMing, my first campaign ever as a GM yesterday, which was fun. Yeah, it was Dragonbane. I'm going to be very heavy on Dragonbane, at least in my personal life, over the next couple of weeks. And some of that will make it over to the show. Actually, that's something else that's coming up, is I dove back into Deepfall Breach from Dragonbane for the first time since the very beginning of this podcast. And it was a heap of fun. I forgot how good that is. There's a specific reason I'm doing that. That reason will become apparent on another episode that comes up soon, in which I played a sort of guided solo session of Alone in Deepfall Breach with a GM who's familiar with Dragonbane, but is not familiar with solo and skeptical, or was skeptical and curious about it. And I sort of held their hand through a solo session of Deepfall Breach. And it was great fun. And they now understand more about solo and this stuff that we do. And that episode will be coming up. That's probably leaning into March now. I've got a couple of ideas what I want to do in March. We're just going to see what pans out with interviews and stuff. Otherwise, we might be getting some of that Dragonbane content again. Maybe even the topic of co-op play. That's not a bad idea, actually. I haven't done much co-op play, but that stuff that I have done has been heaps of fun. Okay, I am now heading over to Reddit, because yesterday, last minute, surprise, surprise from me, I decided that I would ask out on Reddit some people's recommendations for their best or their most highly recommended solo as free and affordable games. Free and or affordable games. I saw my phone sort of blow up with a lot of answers, and I didn't want to look at any of them yet, so I'm now going to go through them. Before I do, though, I put out in the Discord and asked a few people in various places for theirs first, so I'm just going to go through theirs first. The first one is by some guy called Tale of the Manticore. I don't know, that's a weird name. So he sent me a link to Delving Deeper, something I've never heard of. It says Original Rules E. Gary Gygax. I've heard of him and Dave Arneson. And this is a gateway to the realms where magic works and dragons are real, where elves and dwarves fight alongside men and against goblins and giants. That sounds pretty roleplay. Okay. Yeah, sorry, Mr. Manticore, whoever you are, that I didn't research this. This looks really cool. So this, as far as I can tell, and go check this out, this is, as I said, it is called Delving Deeper. Authors are Simon J. Bull and Cameron Dubiers. Production by Simon J. Bull. Go check this out. My initial impression is that this is some kind of original D&D remake, simplification, something like that. I'm not sure. But it's probably great. It looks good. And if it's recommended by John, then it's probably worth going to check out. I also wanted to recommend, on John's behalf, Mr. Manticore, who I don't know who you are, I did see somewhere that some sort of Manticore had made some of their own one-shots themselves. One Shot in the Dark is one of them, and I haven't actually looked deeply into these. My list of stuff to check out is just too big. But yeah, One Shot in the Dark. Have to Google it yourself, I think. I will put links into the show notes once I've finally looked into these things, because I'd forgotten they existed and I haven't yet checked them out. But One Shot in the Dark is $1.50 and Pendulum is 99 cents. And those come from your friend and mine, John from Tale of the Manticore, and I have no doubt that they are excellent. Check them all out. He also recommended BFRPG 100% by Chaocalypse. So go check that out. And also, that's the Delving Deeper. Excellent. Yeah, Solitary GM. Fantastic. Someone else said, hey PJ, it's not a game per se, but a bundle. Every year, one of the designers on itch host the Solo But Not Alone bundle filled with all sorts of physical PDF, solo and PDF solo role-playing and journaling games. It costs a minimum of $10, and this year's bundle features 90 games. It's only running through the end of March. Good. I'm glad I got this in time. But if you do a low-cost show before then, this might be worth mentioning. I posted more information on the network. And that is from Terrence. Oh, sorry, not on the network. On TNI, which, that's right. This is Tev's next idea. Fantastic blog, Substack, I think, if you go and check out Terrence. He does great stuff about his thoughts of solo role-playing and is prolific in how much stuff that he's doing. That's really great. Good advice, mix of advice and his experiences. Good on you, Terrence. Terrence, as always, chipping in when I ask for stuff. And I really appreciate you getting in touch and your emails. Thank you, Terrence. Oh, and someone else did say, and it's not listed here. Yeah. This is from our Discord, and I'm very sorry. I think it was Kappa Solo, but I can't remember exactly. It was a while ago when I asked this. I couldn't find it again. And they say that if you Google foo enough, you'll find free quick starts for most RPGs, DCC, Tunnels and Trolls, Rogue Trader, Mongoose, Traveller, Legend of the Five Rings, Shadowrun, etc. All the SRDs are up online. OSE, Trophy Dark, D&D, Basic Role-Playing, Fate, Dungeon World, Ironsworn, Cepheus Engine. There's also a ton of free PDFs too, including the White Box FMAG, which I have played on the show a long time ago. If you want to go check out that's a heap of fun for really basic, old-school D&D type stuff. Ironsworn, of course, Stars, Worlds, Cities, Ashes, all without number. Roll for Shoes, Osric, Classic Traveller. Most of those I have not played, but it's great to see that there are so many great quick starts out there. And quick starts are a really good thing. Mike Shea talks about it a lot for listeners of his show too. Quick starts are great because it really gives you an idea of if you're going to like it, rather than just running out and spending money on everything straight away and then collecting dust on your shelves. But your books should not be collecting dust on your shelves, because you get books off your shelves and play them even if you don't know the rules. Okay, heading over now to the Discord. I don't mean the Discord, I mean the Reddit, where I asked this question, and we're going to see what sort of responses we got. Noldunar, I'm just going to do the pronunciation that comes to me straight away, and we'll see. Noldunar says, so far I haven't seen it, so I throw in the Without Number series by Kevin Crawford. Great. Haven't seen it, I guess they mean the episode. So yes, you're in time, Noldunar. Another recommendation for the Without Number series by Kevin Crawford, Stars, World, Cities, and Ashes, they didn't mention, but that is also there. I have not tried them, but I do hear good things. My son was asking about it the other day. They have official free editions on DriveThruRPG and are great tools to generate content. And actually, that's the context that I've mostly heard about the Without Numbers stuff, is for world generation and content generation. Something I do need to check out, especially maybe for Fallout stuff with the Ashes Without Numbers. Pastor Jewelry says, Ironsworn, it's free. Nuff said. Kaisel, check this one out. On itch, The Cold Iron. You can grab a free copy. Let me see what this is. This is over on itch. It must be 18 years. Okay, that's too many clicks. I'm not doing that now. But go check out that. I don't know what it is, but it is recommended to you by Kaisel. That is The Cold Iron. One Twoth pick. Mouse Ritter and Ironsworn are my favorite free games. Another recommendation for Ironsworn there. Mouse Ritter I've actually played in a group, just a couple of sessions, a couple of single shots, and it's a lot of fun. It takes that concept of just rolling for damage and not rolling to hit, and it makes the combat sort of fast and furious, and mice die, because mice die. And it's sort of a good way, I think, to step into that OSR sort of feel where the characters that do manage to survive against all odds become so much more important to you because they survive, even if they weren't your favorites to begin with. Yay Wizardly says, no one has mentioned it yet. So Elegy, a vampire-focused RPG built off Ironsworn system. That I haven't heard about. Personally, not a huge vampire-y person. For people who are vampire-y people, if it's built off Ironsworn system, I can imagine, like the excellent Iron Iron Valley, which is also based on the Ironsworn system, but sort of set in that Stardew Valley cozy type vibes. And that works really, really well. So I can imagine Elegy, a vampire-focused RPG built off the Ironsworn system, is also good. You can also go and check out the recommendation from Epic Empires RPG. I wonder if they make games. One-page rules with any other free system. Aha! And now we get into our combination stuff. So they recommend D10 roll under 1. No, hang on. D10 roll under, one-page solo. Cool. I haven't heard this. I like roll under. D10s are good. And this very much is a one-page solo. Excellent. Okay, so I'm printing this. I'm not going to do it now for the audio, but I'm going to print this because this looks immediately good. It is a two-sided oracle, essentially, but it looks to me like it has everything you need and not much that you don't. We have a yes-no, D10, roll under, with the chances for each, whatever. I'll usually use my own oracle for that stuff, but that's fine. Then we have a random event, new NPC appears, quest, goal, positive, profitable, safe, all good, gotta have our random events. And then we have the solo oracle, which is a D66 table with your usual words. Now, this is one that's something that I've seen recently where rather than just having a single word on each spark, so capture, flood, interesting. I guess we have to quickly build a dam before the crashing river comes down and wipes away the village. Rather than just having a single word on each, it gives you a comma and a second word, which is related to, but not the same as, the original word. So, for example, capture, if I can find it again, capture flood could be abduct, which is similar, but quite different to capture, abduct, and disaster. So this, I think, is really nice. We've just talked on Sunday's book club. The episode just came out now today on the Patreon feed. The book club we had on Sunday, which was all about Oracle systems. And this one looks great. Definitely going to try this. It has rules for... Sorry, if I didn't finish my thought, you have 2 words for each entry that are similar and related, and it means that your brain can slide to the one that makes the most sense in the moment, and you can just keep moving. That is so important. It also has a timer system. It has success ladders. Great. I'm not going into this too much. It looks great. I'm very happy that I found this. Thank you for recommending it. Epic Empires RPG. And that is the D10 roll under one-page solo, and they say use it with any other free system, like Can. They also then recommend Can, and if you want basic D&D basic expert feel, you could add in Can BX. I didn't know that was a thing. Very cool. Another vote for Sean Tompkins' Ironsworn. Fantastic. Unsurprising, but there is a reason that keeps coming up. Also Starforged, if you like the sci-fi better. I haven't played Ironsworn, only Starforged, but I will get back to it, especially when the new edition comes out, that I believe Matt said when I was interviewing him is due to come out. It's probably a couple of years away. But a remake of Ironsworn is very exciting to me. Also, Alone Against the Flames, an introductory solo adventure for Call of Cthulhu. Wow, there is some great recommendations here. And so many. Thank you everyone for writing in. This is great. I'm keeping going. Difficult Event says that they made a video about that in the beginning of the year. I am happy to shout out your video, Difficult Event. Oh yes, I recognize you. This is I Roll Alone. You can go and check out the I Roll Alone YouTube channel. I very much enjoy your content when I get to watch some YouTube. Yeah, and that's 10 free solo RPGs to try in 2026. I may have even watched that video. Who knows? Maybe it gave me the idea. There is no stealing in art, only inspiration. Kind of, unless you're AI, then it's stealing. Cheap Intentions. My favorite is $18 on DriveThruRPG, so it doesn't quite qualify as affordable. I was loose on that definition, but for a complete game, it's the best one that I've found and got me into solo roleplay, and that is Star Trek Adventures Captain Log. Anything that gets you into it, into the hobby, is well worth it. That is fantastic. Let me see here. Maybe I should have turned the video off for this bit, guys, because this is just me reading my computer and not showing anything on video. But hey, that's how it goes. At least you're hearing it live. which might be fun. Star Trek Adventures Captain Log. I've heard a lot about that. I've never actually played it, and I believe that was Smidifius and their first foray into solo type modes for their games, to be followed up now by Wanderer's Wasteland. Man, this came up on Reddit the other day. I'm not sure the name is great for this. It could have been The Lone Wanderer, but it is not. It is Wasteland Wanderer, the upcoming standalone solo mode for Fallout 2D20. I interviewed the lead writer, senior games writer at Modifius, Ben Maunder, the other day. I think that came out a couple of weeks ago on the show. You can go check out that if you want to hear more about that. I'm excited for more Fallout content, and good to see, always happy to see, publishers making solo stuff. New Critter says, love in the quiet hours and the Heartlight Chronicles for solo journaling RPGs. I believe there is a really strong journaling scene out there. I know Anna Blackwell, who was also on the show, talked a bit about about journaling stuff. It is a huge part of its hobby, and I do think its own separate part. I think the only problem with journaling is that when people come into the hobby, it's easy to get the impression that is the only way to solo roleplay, and it is not. It is a great way to solo roleplay if that's what you want to get out of solo roleplay, but there are all sorts of other things you can get if you dig in and find out what kind of solo roleplayer you are. Darth Vegan, recognize your name as well. The PDF of the Mothership RPG's player guide is completely free from Tuesday Night with a K Games. The plain text version of 1000 Empty Light, a very popular solo module for Mothership, is also free. I keep meaning to get Mothership and 1000 Empty Light. And now in my soundtrack that I'm listening to, I have a very cool spacey theme, but also creepy. I think that's a sign for me to get Mothership. Combine that with One Page Solo Engine, also free. You can get started soloing one of my favorite RPGs at zero cost. That is Mothership, 1000 Empty Light, and One Page Solo Engine. Fantastic recommendation. And Echo J says, thanks for the tip about Mothership. I'm with you, Echo J. I also thank Darth Vegan for the tip about Mothership. Jeff R. Hind, any love for Lona? Yes, there is love for Lona, and as I said, the interview with Roberto is coming up this month. You will be pleased to hear. Ganadia says the solo wilderness crawler. Okay, cool. And solo dungeon crawler. Okay, these are good things. I want to look at these two things because I'm always looking for new ways to wilderness and dungeon crawl. Those are 5e solo game books. I'm going to click on it because otherwise I will lose it. I'm guessing it is, and they are 99 cents. I'm guessing that they are probably transferable. Yeah, here we go. Solo Wilderness Crawler is system agnostic and designed to work with any fantasy RPG. With all my products, I encourage you to take what you want from the system and leave out what you don't, substituting other tables and resources as you see fit. That is the only way to do it. I like the look of that. I am going to come back and check that out. Thank you very much, Ganadia. Neon Rose. Calarath has been one of my favorites. It's not free, but it is very affordable and has several supplements that add a lot to it. Castle Grief has released 3 official expansions, and the Silver Nightingale curates Visions of Calarath, a top-notch fanzine for it. Each of those zines are about the size of the original book and are packed full of great content. Thank you for the recommendation for Calarath. That is a great one. I forgot. But that is one I wanted to recommend myself. We also did that in the book club, and I have an episode of it on the main show as well. I'm keen to get back to it. I haven't actually played it since then. I've got now Al-Rathak, I think, which is I believe made by someone else, but an add-on. Maybe it is even Silver Nightingale. Sorry, again, research and prep is not my strong suit. Calarath, really good game. Can check it out. And even though it is less free than some games, the Lulu copy that I got, which is a spiral-bound copy of the, I think, first 3 or 4 little expansions, is a really great little product. You can hold it in one hand, you can pack it in a backpack, and you can play with just that and 2 dice and a piece of paper, and that is not to be sneezed at when time or space is low. And it is really great for the famed 20-minute session which we talked about last month or the other month on the show. I'm still working on the 20-minute challenge episode. Thanks for everyone who sent stuff in. I've got enough stuff now. When the schedule lines up, I will put together an episode. I need to think of an own challenge for myself, maybe first. Let's see. Whiskey Rat. Yeah. Can 2E RPG and Juice Oracle, both free on itch. Juice Oracle, I pulled out again the other day. I'd forgotten I had it. I found it in my diary and mean to try it again. I haven't tried it in earnest, or at least I can't remember, but to have a little on-the-go Oracle that seems to have everything I need in a little fold-up booklet. I just printed it out. It's one of those little pocket mod things, which are like this size, smaller. I just printed out, I just cut out then a bit of harder card on it and just stapled it and made a little booklet. And I have a little booklet that's my Juice Oracle, and I think it's really cool. I don't use those plus-minus dice because, I don't know, the brain doesn't work. It doesn't work in my brain. Iron Swan, Vegetable Monk. Iron Swan is the most polished, well-crafted free RPG I've ever come across. Just starting to use the Loner SRD, which is free. Freeform Universal is free, but relies on Reader Player to do a lot of setup. Okay, another vote for Iron Swan. That is good. And Loner. Don't forget about Loner. We'll hear more about it, like I said. Redwood Radara. Mune, M-U-N-E. I have heard that come up in various conversations, and I'm not sure what it is. Online Game Master's Apprentice, also new to me. And One Page Mythic, also great. And I have a little printed copy of it, and I don't currently know where it is. But it's good, especially for the plane, because it has a analog dice roller in it, which is a novel idea that I quite liked, and have in fact used it on a plane, and it works well. Redwood Radara also recommends fully solo games, Freeform Universal, Iron Swan, Iron Valley, there that is, Alone Among the Stars. I've got that, I haven't played it. To Be a Master, Trinyoji. Cool. Those are new to me, sound good. And traditional games needs an Oracle, basic fantasy, RPG, GURPS, that's the one I was thinking of, not MUNE. GURPS Lite, Grimwild, Stars, Worlds Without Number, Mini 6, unbelievably simple role-playing, Tricube Tales I've heard of, Gerben Trolls, Phase Rip, sounds awesome, Traveller Explorers Edition. Traveller was very enthusiastically recommended to me by Steve from Aaron Adventures. Love you, Steve. Love Aaron Adventures. The podcast, if you don't know about it, go check it out. It's really great. Star-forged, actual play stuff. And Steve very enthusiastically recommended Traveller to me. I still am yet to check it out, but I will, I promise. Other useful tools, Random Swords and Sorcery Adventure Generator, Universal NPC Emulator, that's something I need. D30 Sandbox Companion, Wilderness, Hexplore, James Embry's Town, and City Builder. I'm, instead of linking everything in the show notes, I think I'm just going to link this Reddit post in the show notes, and you can check all that out. Or just do a quick rewind and make a note of the things that I say if I'm not speaking too fast. Hopefully we're getting close to the end of this here. John Fromunix. Good on you, John. I'm skipping over some of them the same. Basic Fantasy, One Page Mythic, Mythic GME mobile app. Comes in at $5. That's a good call. Mythic GME is a mobile app. You can get a lot of bang for your buck. I don't use mobile stuff myself, digital stuff myself, but you can get a lot of bang for your buck with the Mythic GME mobile app, and especially for small footprint and doing all of that heavy lifting for you on a train, I guess. If you're in Germany, you can be on a train for a lot longer than you had planned to, so that is a great time to bust out Mythic GME. Also in the ultra-low-cost camp is Silver Nightingale's Ultimate Solo RPG Toolkit. Silver Nightingale is a name I recognize and have heard good things about, and I can't pinpoint any of their work right at the moment. I'm sorry, Silver Nightingale, if I do in fact know your work. I probably do. It might even be stuff that I have. But the Ultimate Solo RPG Toolkit is something I'm very interested in the moment. At the moment as well. I'm just going to make a little note to go and check out that. It is $5 apparently. Oh yes, I know this. I even have it. Excellent. Another good little solo toolkit. It has settlements, dungeon generator, tables, all good stuff. Oracle, change the scene. You know what we're talking about. This is. I read Sister or Frog because I'm a little bit too far away from my computer. That is not the name of this Redditor. They are Slater Frog, but Sister or Frog is a wonderful name. Or even solo RPG game. I forgot what Broken Cask costs, but it's such a bargain, and the extra cost to get it printed really helps. It's super replayable. It doesn't need a lot of space to play either. One sheet, dice, book, and you're good to go. Less if you just use a notepad or on your phone. Cool. Broken Cask I've heard about too. I hear it's pretty good. Iron Sworn from Aria Cadenza. Also among the stars, coming back to make another entry. Recommended by Aria that it is a very good solo game for people that have never played a solo RPG. The Last Tea Shop, because it's a very short game, good for first solo or second game. I really appreciate these recommendations for first solo games, because if you are coming into this hobby brand new and you just want to get started, but you're not sure what sort of solo role player you are and therefore where to put your money, it's a great thing to try out the free and cheap ones and sort of get a bit of an idea of what you're looking for in your solo play before you go and commit financially to some of the bigger things that you may or may not want to do down the track. You could probably play free RPGs forever without spending a single cent. There is that much good stuff out there. Diamond Cage, the PDF version of the Drifter series. The Drifter rings a bell. Forge, says Ludi Latararum. Forge, which is fantasy original role-playing game engine, I think. I have that downstairs because I was using it actually for the first time during a old school Essentials dungeon session that I just started and got interrupted and I'm keen to get back to. That is Forge. There is a new version of Forge out. I believe the original was a small thing that had some AI art in it, and take all of this with a grain of salt. You know what I'm like with research. From memory, it had some AI art in it, and the author came out and said, hey, I didn't realize this was going to be successful, and I'm really keen to pay an artist to do some real art, and they got some fantastic art from someone else who is known in the scene. Maybe it was even Chaocalypse. I'm not sure. And I believe you can check that out to check my facts, but I believe there is a new version of Forge out or coming, which has human art in it. Good on you for doing that. Loner, Starlogs, Cortex Light, and Torchlight. Torchlight I also have. Can and Iron Sworn. No surprises that the front runner here is Iron Sworn for recommendations. Sea Chain. I usually browse itch from start to finish. There's a ton of excellent quality free content. Now, among the things that catch my attention, Songs and Sagas, which features an excellent solo play kit that can easily be adapted and used in other games as well. That is Songs and Sagas. Edelweiss, which is Edelweiss. A diceless system really catch my attention, and this one stands out especially for its unique and evocative atmosphere. Edelweiss, I like that. I believe the German translation is maybe Noble White, Royal White, something like that, I'm not sure. Plight, which we have a playthrough on the show and an interview with the author. Go check that out. Plight is great. It's made for solo, or at least from memory. I have it here. I can't quite reach it. Great game. Old school. Everything you need is in there. Plight. Go check it out. A can hack with an excellent toolkit for solo play. There you go. Grenadier. Excluding those already mentioned. Just One Sword. Forge. Plight. Tales of the Burnstones. Calarath. Iron Valley. Ronin. And Morkborg. Barebones Edition. Morkborg. First time in this list. Morkborg. Actually haven't played it. I've played Pirate Borg. I have Solitary Defilement, which I believe has some very interesting solo ideas for dungeoneering, which I'm still keen to check out. Vargasai, Ronin's great. I am also keen to check out Ronin. I've heard good things. The Road to Travel says Basic Fantasy White Box, FMAG, Can, and Iron Sworn. All top-notch recommendations. Coming to the end here, Magical Tune says Iron Sworn is the common recommendation for a free game, and it is indeed excellent. NoteQuest is top tier in this category, the base game is free, and the full game is really cheap. And the Without Numbers series isn't solo, but is really good material for solo, and the base game is free. Thank you, Magical Tune. And the final, last but not least, entry recommendation on Reddit from BL Hero. I'm biased, but I like my TTRPG. Mate, you are totally allowed to be biased. We make stuff that we like, that we think is good. Otherwise, we wouldn't make it. Which is a complete TTRPG on a website and is free. That is called 9 Powers. Let me follow this link here so I can give you some more information. It is called 9 Powers, Tales of Adventuring and Daring at davidvs.net/9powers, one word /. Check that out. Cool. Looks comprehensive. Good on ya for making stuff, David, if that is in fact your real name. BL Hero, thank you. That is it. That was the last comment. And now, at least I think it is now, they've all been juggled, but I'm pretty sure that was the last one. Wow, that was a lot. That was cool. And now that I'm back here in the chat, I can see more people are here. Kappa Solo. Hello, snuck away from work for a little bit. Thanks for being here. Wonderful. And Jacob, how many Dolmenwood episodes do you have and plan? Well, let me open my editing list here. I have quite a number of Dolmenwood tabs open. I think the last one I recorded was part 6. However, some of them were definitely double episodes because they were like 2 hours long. So at least 7. And I am also just scratching the surface, so I intend to have a lot more than that coming up. I'm really thoroughly enjoying Dolmenwood. A really horrible thing happened in the story, and it is tore me up a little bit, but in a good way, and it's going to make for some good narrative. So yeah, definitely lots more Dolmenwood stuff. Unfortunately, or fortunately, I'm not sure, the extra content, the continued actual plays are over on the Patreon at the $5 tier, the solo role player. So if you're interested in supporting and you want to check out that extra Dolmenwood content, you can go and check out all the other stuff that I have there. There's lots and lots of extra plays. And Varga, friend of the show, Varga. And Varga says hands is handsome hands. Too much of a pun. It could be too much of a pun, Varga. I'm sorry to tell you, but, you know, so be it. That is it from me today, I think. Oh no, I have another announcement, and this is one I'm hesitant about, but I'm announcing it nonetheless, and that is that I am just, and it's not quite live just yet for you live people, but by the time this episode comes out, I am very hesitantly releasing some merchandise, some t-shirts, and I think they are going to be a very limited item, not out of creating FOMO, but because managing and maintaining and paying for a web store is kind of, it's more stuff that I want to do. However, I have gone through the process to make at least an initial run. And a note about these t-shirts, I currently just have the one that I wear. It's not currently on me to show you, unfortunately. But it is a logo of the Solo Roleplayers podcast with either a big logo in the middle or a small one on the, small right breast logo or left breast logo, whichever it happens to be. And they are expensive. They are expensive, and that is because built into them is support. I wanted to make them. It's really an item, a way to support me that you also get a t-shirt from. I'm not just sort of flogging off t-shirts. So that is why they are proudly expensive. Unless you happen to be a Patreon, in which case you get, I think, like a 50% discount, maybe even 60%, I'm not sure. And then that brings them more in line with the cost of just hosting the store and all that sort of stuff, and production and shipping and all that. I did also get a slightly more expensive shirt that is at least told to me to be a little bit more environmentally responsible, even though almost no apparel is. It apparently is. All I can do is trust their word on that one. It is also feels really nice. It is very nice cotton. Nice feels is important. So yeah, if you are live here, that is not available just yet. I'm going to go and publish the post over on the Patreon free feed after this recording. And a note for those who are listening back to the episode. Those t-shirts are now available if you head over to the Solo Roleplayers Patreon, and there will be a pinned post there with the t-shirts that are currently available. Again, they are probably going to be limited. I'm going to do it for a couple of months and just see if people want them enough to justify me spending the extra time and money to do it, because all that time is time away from me actually playing and recording and editing and writing, and there is only so much time. Thank you very much for being here today on the Solo Roleplayers podcast. We have a fantastic month. I look forward to all of the content that is coming out of this month. Those interviews were great. I look forward to sharing them with you. That is with Jim Hall, the designer and artist for Beetle Knight, as well as Roberto and his Loner series, and my sort of first look plus actual play. I'm not sure how I'm going to structure the episode just yet of Beetle Knight itself. As a reminder, if you want to play along with the book club, whether you are in the book club Patreon or not, do play along. Go and check out Beetle Knight. It is a wonderful little game featuring a three-layered hex system that I think is really fun. And you can report back. If you do play this as part of the book club, you can send me an email and tell me about your experiences over at soloroleplayerspodcast@gmail.com, and I will bring that up in the book club when we talk about it and your thoughts and experiences. Thank you, the live people, to be here with my experiment. I don't know. I sort of had fun. I know there wasn't much on the table to actually show, but if I continue doing this stuff in the future, I don't know. I think it's a cool kind of thing to be there and listen to the background while you're doing your other stuff during your day. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. And for those patrons out there, both free and the Solo Roleplayers and Lone Wanderer tier patrons out there, thank you so much for your support and just being here. Just knowing you're there and you're listening makes it all worthwhile. That's it from me today. Until next time, get a free or affordable game and try it out. Maybe it's the thing that finally gets you to sit down and start playing. Maybe you've been playing big stuff and you just want to be reminded of the simple things in the Solo Roleplayers life. Go and check out some of these games and get down and play some games solo. Bye!